Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What it do? How we doing, fellas?
Good man.
Live from the car phone tonight. You know what I mean?
Tonight,
I'm on the
tonight.
go. I'm on the go.
Absolutely. Once again, Thursday Night Live, 905 Live, the Ringside Club. The third member of the Ringside Club, Blaine Boogie, will be joining us shortly, but we're here live once again. We had a dope episode last week. A lot of new people checking in, tapping in with us for sure. We're going to just keep hitting you. We're just going to keep hitting you with those guests we want to hear from. I got my guy Rich Latta right here with me. Before we even get into proper introductions, I got my guy Rich Latta here with me, who you might know from the third track on that No Flows Bar project that I put out last November and all that. But yeah, man, we're here. TheRingsideClub.com is everything you need. Hit all that up for past episodes, future episodes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts for the audio, YouTube for the video. We're live right now on X.
That Law Take out every episode, every wrestling
Right.
show. You're going to catch it
Reviewing it
right
all.
after the show. I'll
Yes,
make sure to
sir.
give my recaps, you know what I'm saying, between AEW, TNA, WWE. You know, you're going to catch the Law Take recap. You might be pissed off by some of my takes, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking from the heart. I'm just kicking it to you like it is. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking no shit
Absolutely.
you ain't already heard.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, so here's the deal. We're doing this in real time. We have a brand new intro that's going to be loading up somewhere in the next couple of minutes. But let's just get into the show. Usually, what we do right around this time is we have a survey. And the survey for this episode is going to be, what do you think is the most well-designed? What's your favorite design right now as far as world championships are concerned? Any promotion, world championships that you think kind of looks the best? Right now, I'm really feeling the newest version of the TNA title. I think it just looks like a classic world championship. Gold. It's not too fancy. You see the logo, but it's not like overtaking the entire design. So I'm gonna go with that TNA title, which I got.
I'm
I
right.
think, yeah,
Rich,
go
you
ahead,
can go.
chat.
No,
Okay.
Rich, you can go. Do you think?
I think I'm gonna just go with the AEW title. I've had kind of a reverence for it. Ever since it debuted, it's gone through slight changes. And in this latest form, it has those side plates on there, and just the fresh new one I saw in person the other night. So it even from the match that happened, there was a new belt since then. So it's just so big, so gold, so bright, so platinum. It had to be that.
There you go. Chad, what you got?
I'm rocking with the new SmackDown tag team titles. I think they look like a throwback to that SmackDown 6 era. You know what I'm saying? The classic blue tag titles. Truly, truly some hidden gems with those belts. What Theory and Waller do with them remains to be seen. Maybe we'll discuss them on Champions Watch coming up. But other than that, those SmackDown tag titles look très magnifique.
Yes, sir. So that's the survey. We're waiting for the brand new intro. So what we're gonna do right now is properly introduce our guest. My man Rich Latta right here, who you might know from One Nation Radio, that social suplex network. They have like a bevy of shows. Pretty much anything that you want to tap into and learn about, they have a show for it. Whatever's current right now going on in the world of professional wrestling. Like I mentioned, he was on the record with me on No Flows Bar, so he's also real heavy as far as doing any kind of music intros for a lot of your favorite podcasts, intros for wrestlers. Rich Latta, welcome to the Ringside Club. What up, bro?
Oh man, honored to be here, man.
Peace. Peace,
Just
King.
for
Welcome
sure,
in.
for sure, man. I'm happy to be here, happy to talk with your audience, and it's gonna be a good time, man. Come from One Nation Radio, where I've done two shows this week. This is gonna be the third show of the week, so hopefully the audience not sick of hearing me. But glad to be here. Love what y'all boys been doing, and just steadily, staying consistent with it as y'all head towards 100, man.
Appreciate you. Now you mentioned seeing that AEW World Championship in person. You were in the building for Dynasty, and I wanted to pull this picture up. You posted this on your Twitter account. You're getting a lot of money if you're sitting next to this guy right here. Getting a lot of money if you're sitting next to this guy right here. This is the Barry Bloom. I had never seen a picture. I didn't know what Barry Bloom looked like whatsoever. And then I hit the timeline, and your man Rich is sitting next to the Barry Bloom, who does like
Yeah.
every deal that means something in this business, man. What was it like just that night, Dynasty in general? Was that the first time you met Barry?
Yeah, that was the first time I met Barry. I was actually at the Talent Hotel the night before, kind of chilling in the lobby. There was a bar and restaurant area, and
Right.
I got pointed out, I was like, oh, that's Barry Bloom. And I was like, oh, really? Okay, cool. And then,
That's Barry.
I didn't think much of it. And then, I got to the show and I noticed it was like, it was one person sitting next to me and then it was Barry Bloom. And I just looked over and I was like, is that the same guy from last night? So I Googled it real quick while I was next to him. Of course, no current Barry Bloom photos, just older ones. But I was like, oh, maybe, he's a little older now or whatever. I was like, I'm just going to ask. So I asked him. He was incredibly nice. We had a great time. We watched most of the he definitely was out there for all his clients' matches for sure. And I think he walked away for like one match, but he was a cool guy and all that. I asked him if I could take a picture with him. Basically told him, I was like, hey, man, respect what you do for getting these wrestlers paid, because if it's one thing, I'm an advocate for, is the wrestlers. So
get your money. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Talk to his assistant as well, and that was a real rare kind of experience. So he was asking me kind of like what I thought of different people. It was just more on beyond the surface level. So it was pretty cool sitting with Barry.
Dope. What was the rest of that night for you, man? Like the atmosphere in the building that night. It was crazy watching it from TV. So what was the energy like for the rest of that evening?
Yeah, man. So that day actually started for me like fairly early. I got to the building around noon, and I was fortunate enough to kind of be in the backstage area. I got to meet a lot of people before the show. So I saw as the hours got closer, the building filled up, and then I walked back out there as people were there. And man, you could just feel it from the pre-show. The crowd was on fire. They were with everyone. I would say, throughout most of the night, even through, Danielson and Ospreay, which you think would like kill a show, but they still had, the tag match. They still had the Jack Perry reveal. They still had Swerve. And how I knew I was in a special crowd was by the time we got to the main event, they were ready. That's kind of showed what they were there for. They were there to enjoy everything else, but they were there to see coronation. And Swerve's entrance in person was one of the most electric things I think I've ever been a part of. I used to say the Double or Nothing 2021 when I was in attendance there, that was the best show I ever attended because the crowd was just amazing. And that was the first show back off of COVID, but this one has surpassed it. St. Louis, awesome city. Can't recommend it enough. Like AEW pay-per-views, they're usually really great, and it's hard to kind of distinguish because obviously we had Revolution last month. So, if it's near you, try to go for sure.
I am a fan of them having monthly pay-per-views now. Like this whole like waiting the time period, and then like you got 3 months in between. Like, nah, I'm just happy that every month we can expect a banger after banger.
I think it felt like it was this like kind of self-imposed thing, and so many people were hesitant of like, oh, don't add more shows. And then like, I'm like, man, if there's more shows, there's more revenue, there's more opportunities for, big pay-per-view matches.
Dude, if there was no Dynasty, like this would have been a strenuous month of AEW, man. Like if this would have just been straight shows and no Dynasty, but like maybe would have had like Trouble at the Bubble or like Quake at the Lake, one of like the hybrid like little shows that they do, like that maybe would have worked. But I'm glad they put Dynasty in and actually made this a staple pay-per-view. So
yeah, no doubt,
solid pay-per-view overall. I was thoroughly enjoyable of that show. You know what I'm saying? Some of the matches ran a little longer than I would have liked them to, but I think I definitely overall walked away from that show like, all right, AEW pay-per-views always are exciting, and they always leave you feeling good afterward. The TV shows might be a different story, but the actual wrestling and the actual makeup of the pay-per-views, like, very quality for me. I rock with it.
Yeah, it was one of those things. Once you need more pay-per-views because you have more TV now. You know what I mean? Like when you just had the one TV show, you could probably get away with doing like your quarterly pay-per-views. But as the roster got bigger, as there's more shows, now we have Rampage, now we have Collision. That's 5 hours of television. You need way more pay-per-views. And I think, we're in a good flow now because you saw last night on Dynamite, we already have 3 or 4 matches that we know at least the direction. If not, it's already officially confirmed as far as matches that are coming up at Double or Nothing. So
it just gets them on the clock. It just gets them on the clock a lot faster.
Exactly.
So it's like what the shot clock did for basketball. It's like, hey man, we could walk this joint up or what? Like you see the difference between college and NBA, 35 to 24 seconds. So a little bit faster to the draw, works.
Absolutely. I just saw that the brand new intro has been uploaded, Hey, man.
Oh,
Let's just world premiere this joint. You about to get an intro
What
about
world
5-10 minutes
premiere?
into the episode.
World
Brand new
premiere.
intro. Let's pop.
Oh,
Peace to y'all. It's the Ringside Club Paul. A.O. Blame Boogie. Chad Law. The power's back. Triple power bomb. The big dog trio in the stream, y'all. Go outside, hit the venue guard. It's all love when you see us, Lord. Back to the pad, on air for the pod. Ringside Club, intro to the squad. Let the show start.
I gotta look.
First time I laid eyes on it, boy.
Quality visuals.
That boy Blame Boogie. That boy Blame Boogie. All right, just had to hit it. You just had to play. I just saw that it uploaded. But yeah, man. So coming out of Dynasty. So what was your, obviously, like, everybody's consensus match of the night? It seems like consensus match of the year is probably Ospreay versus Danielson. Is that the best match that you've been in person for? And was that your match of the night?
It's definitely the best match I've ever been in person for. And, I've seen a lot of great matches in person. Like, I've been fortunate to be able to, go around the country and watch, things like, Okada and Jay White at Madison Square Garden, or, Will Ospreay and Bandito, or, I saw Ospreay in Atlanta against Kyle Fletcher, a month ago. So,
like Dynamite, his debut, right? Yeah.
Right. So, but this one, like, this was not only like match of the year. This is like match of the decade contender. Like, when I think about some of the best matches I've ever seen in my life, I take it back to, Swerve and Hangman. I take it back to Okada Omega 4. I take it back to Omega and Ospreay, and then Danielson and Ospreay are right there. Like, it's like, can you get in the room? That's how I kind of look at them. Once it's that good, it's hard for me to, like, necessarily pick one over the other. But it's like, hey, man, can I let you in the room? It's like, can I pull the red gate open for you? I can. All right, cool. Come on in.
Right. Dynamite.
I kind of put that match right next to Omega Danielson because of my Omega allegiance. I see it being better than some of the other Danielson collabs. Like, I think it was better than the Okada match. It just wasn't as slow. Yeah. The Zack Sabre Jr. match was even slower. And I just think the Kenny Omega match, because we always compare Omega and Ospreay at times, like, I just felt like the tenacity of that match was really, really good. So I kind of just have them like neck and neck damn near.
Right. Yeah, man. Like, I'm Kenny Omega, my favorite wrestler of all time too. So, like, I know what you mean. It's that burst. It's the
It's like, look, how can I say Omega? How can I say Omega isn't killing it? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that match was actually fucking potent. I hope we get to see them have a part 2. You know what I'm saying? At some point, before Danielson gives it up in amongst Omega's situation right now. I can only hope.
Right. You know, the coolest thing about that match is almost, at least for me, in my opinion, is what that did for the Tiger Driver now. Because he hit him, we see, oh, man, he's down. I didn't mean to hurt him. I didn't know he was really injured. He said that at the press conference. We saw, fast forward to fuck is the name of the show? Dynamite, damn. Yeah. We saw on Dynamite that he hesitated to hit. So what that does now is the next time he's in a really, really big, high-profile match, probably, championship contendership match, world title more than likely, maybe Wembley. Maybe we don't see the Tiger Driver until Wembley. And that's an immediate holy shit moment, because that's the story behind it now. It was like, I don't want to hit it, but if I have to do it to win this world title, I will. You're going to get holy shit chance.
I think
that's made.
I think it also gives him an out to, like, kind of lose some matches through hesitation, or, like, if he decides, like, hey, I'm gonna bring it back, but it's nefarious, then it's like the fans already know, like, what it is. So, like, you can go heel with it, you can use it to lose. There's a lot of, it's almost like it's a story.
Oh, what's the story? They say. Nah, I dig it. Let's go over to Wednesday night Dynamite. We had all types of shit. This was, like, probably intentionally or unintentionally, I don't know, one of the funniest episodes of Dynamite I think I've ever seen. We got the return of this guy right here, the scapegoat. I think right now, as far as facial expressions, it's him and Okada that are killing the game right now. Like just facial expressions. There's so much story that's told on their faces right now. What do we feel about like the big stories coming out of Dynamite? Like we see Jack Perry is back, obviously Tony Khan. We saw Shad Khan pop up again. Unintentionally funny episode, bro. There's so much going on coming out of Wednesday night, but just in general, what do we feel coming out of the pay-per-view right now?
Rick, I'll let you shoot first.
Yeah. I think that, the Elite, like, attacking Tony Khan angle is quite arguably, like, maybe, like, the greatest angle they've ever done on, the history of the company. Just kind of so shocking. Like, I kind of, like, saw how it was setting up. I was like, yo, they about to fuck Tony Khan up. Like, and then, literally, like, 3 minutes later, I retweeted myself. I was like, indeed, they did fuck him up. And I think it's set up for the Elite kind of, you had to do something with them. I think the Bucks have been so good. Okada's been so good. And then, of course, Jack Perry. And this goes back to them running the tape on them. There was a lot of debate. Was that the right thing to do? Even I was watching at the time, and I was kind of unsure about it. And it kind of just didn't make me feel good watching it. It was like, whatever. It wasn't that bad for Jack, but nobody won with this. But turns out that was like week one of like this multi-week thing. And where they're going with it, man, I think you can start seeing all kinds of players because you're going to need star power and you're going to need wrestling ability to match whatever the Elite's going on. And I feel like everybody's eligible, like, to stand against them. So
we had a wide assortment of who's who nobodies come out to save Tony Khan last night.
Late too, because he got hit once and nobody came out.
This was like the time where I was like, wow, I actually wouldn't mind FTR popping up here. Like, I know we're going to run FTR Young Bucks to the ground again, but like, yo, where are FTR when you really need them? Like, damn, yo, even they would have added some bit of them, and Garcia would have made up for everybody that we saw in the ring at the end of Dynamite last night. Like, that would have at least kickstarted something for me. I give the overall execution a C- because it just felt like a parody. It felt like I was watching a Mad TV skit with Tony Khan's reactions, the Jack Perry, which the smile into the camera is going to be his like fourth wall shtick now. So like, I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to be, going into when he has his match. He's going to give that little smirk to the camera, and everyone's going to Jack Perry, scapegoat. But overall, I would say an A for effort. Like, totally, I saw where they were going and I appreciated it, but I just felt like it was too comical for me. Like, Tony Khan made it comedy by holding his face after he got punched in the stomach. I was like, I watched this show 3 times. Like, y'all can check the law take. Like, I rewatched the shit. So I'm just like, maybe he was in disbelief. Like, maybe he was like, oh, I can't believe it. Oh shit, my stomach. Like,
you know what I think might have been? I think he might have been mentally preparing himself for that TK driver that he had to take.
Yeah, he was thinking ahead.
Yeah.
He was thinking ahead.
Shout to the black women in the crowd that had the reactions, because they totally made the show. Like, they made that segment for me when I watched it. Because their reactions were just like, what I didn't really fuck with was the fact that this garnered no heat for the Elite. I don't think this brought any heat whatsoever.
They're popular as fuck right now.
Yeah,
though.
man. I'm a big time Elite fan. This don't make me want to booty Elite.
Right.
Dog, you just beat up the owner of the company and everyone's like, yay! Whoop that trick. Like,
because fam, there's no sympathy whatsoever for a billionaire. Nobody's feeling bad for a billionaire whatsoever. Plus, like, when you look at the footage, it's like, no, he really was the scapegoat. We're on Team Jack right now. You baby-faced him. He did nothing in the video.
Even the promo after, when they were backstage and they were cutting that promo, I was just like, wow, like, you can hear the crowd just cheering still. And I'm just like, so
I think the only way that you end up getting these guys booed is you have like an undeniable baby. Like, we get the return of Kenny Omega next week. We don't know if he's healthy, if he's just popping back up, or if there's. In my mind, I was like, this could be like the Swerve where the news is coming out as far as the diverticulitis is that bad and I need surgery, and then all of a sudden it pops back up that he doesn't. That could be one thing, or is legit, but I don't really know anybody else that's super beloved like Kenny Omega that can cause the rest of the Elite to be booed right now.
Yeah, that's why I feel like everyone's on the table. Like, if you got a belt, it don't matter. Like, it's going to be in service of this storyline wherever they're trying to go. So, like, I think it's just that wide open.
All
cards are on deck.
I could take Kenny Omega being the authority figure. You know what I'm saying?
That would kill me. that would remind me of like Commissioner Shawn Michaels.
Service. Don't mind me.
No, you good. Go ahead, Rich.
I said that would remind me of like Commissioner Shawn Michaels, like where I'm just depressed and knowing he can't actually wrestle.
Yeah. Nah, that was a rough time because like
any second it'll be back.
Nah, you good, chat. Commissioner Shawn Michaels was like right in that. He would have fit so well in that time. Like we never got a real official long-term Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels program after the back injury, which was like, damn, now you're the commissioner. Y'all look like you're having a good time drinking and all that, but I really want to see that match. But
right.
I don't want to see Commissioner Omega. Like I ain't ready for that shit
yet. I'm kind of ready for it, son. Like it's the least he could do right now to be on camera, hold it down. He already said he was a terrible EVP on wax, so it's like this could be fun. Like this could be a new chapter for Kenny Omega that we haven't seen. Like President
Tanahashi, exactly.
Like President Tanahashi. There we go. And
this
as
comment
we remember,
right here, it's possible that the footage might have worked too well. Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
I also find it very telling that Tanahashi is on wax saying that WWE knows how to make stars. I thought that was very, very telling that an AEW partner was saying this in an interview.
I did see that. Yeah.
I don't know. I took it for a grain of salt, but I was just like, interesting. Very interesting quote from Mr. Tanahashi himself. We could keep going with a little bit of Dynamite.
For sure.
I think Willow and Mercedes actually held up pretty well. They've kind of got this Flair Dusty thing kind of going on to where like there's just the pizzazz of the CEO and in the building, that CEO theme, you gonna chant the CEO like when it comes on. And I thought Willow kind of had a lot of great points. It's like, hey man, ain't gonna be no asterisk on this one. Maybe the whole thing is you're actually insecure, and I think they've got a lot of momentum too, and this could be a defining rivalry for Mercedes because obviously you want to leverage Mercedes to try to help make a lot of the women in AEW and do better than Willow Nightingale.
Rich, when Willow's theme hits, I just want to bang my head against the fucking window because this
guy hates happy shit, man.
The 80s, the 80s British game show theme song just makes me look like yo, dog. Now it's reached the apex for me. I'm like, holy shit. This is too happy.
That's the most likable theme. She's the most likable wrestler. It works. This guy doesn't like anything happy, man.
Yo, man.
I get it. Sometimes we got to wallow in our darkness and evilness.
Man. You know what I mean? But overall, I do think this feud is going to be cool. I just think Mercedes giving the countdown of 32 days is going to be very scary because it just reminds me that, like, wow, does she only have 32 days left as champion? It's fucking terrible. Like, that's horrible.
What are we thinking here? Like, what I think at some point, I think is the whole squad turns on Willow, and that is the squad. Like, we get Stat, we get Stokely aligned with Mercedes. I thought that was the best in-ring, like on the microphone performance that Mercedes has had since she's been in AEW because it was just raw emotion. It felt more like I'm talking as opposed to I'm performing. And she's like slowly but surely like kind of shedding that performance skin and that Sasha Banks skin.
Was it you that attacked me in the dark last week?
Because like think about it, like the whole time she was in Japan, that wasn't anything to do with promo work. That was all like a couple of matches. She wasn't really there that long before she got hurt, so she hasn't had the reps on TV.
She's playing the mini guitar and shit. Like
she was bugging. She was bugging.
Shit. We could how about the silent hero of Dynamite, Shibata?
I love the translator.
I really like this translator shit. Like
it's funny.
It's growing on me. And I think Moxley's gonna kick his ass real soon. And I'm kind of here for that. Like, I'm here for this. Shibata's lightly flirting with Renee. And I just think Moxley's gonna get wind of this and be like, "Yo, dog, are you seriously my wife being a translator? Like my man, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna take this to the ring. I got an IWGP title and I got an ass whooping with your name on it. So I think that's going to be fun. I think that'll be cool. Shibata was a really nice little. nice little ray of light for me, I think, on Dynamite.
I think I'll die laughing, and I think I'll have to mess with the guys over at Keeping the Strong Style. If Katsuyori Shibata gets a IWGP title match this year, I'm gonna go into hysterics on the show, just dying laughing.
That's about as around the corner way of getting that shit done as possible, bro. Like,
yeah,
that'll be something. What do we think about Ospreay potentially winning that international title? I think they end up merging that. Like, we do title for title probably at Wembley. I think I like it to take the international title off of the table at some point, because the international and the continental and the world, it's just kind of all in the way. We know what the TNT is. At least that has its own identity.
At least it has its own show, and it has a Cope Open. So,
but it has an identity. We know that that's the Open Challenge title. You know what I mean? Like, Continental does have the tournament, but International is just kind of there. Unless they go back to doing like what it was originally, where it's only defended outside of the United States and around, different promotions, almost like a Goodwill. But yeah,
I gotta say, man, like with Will Ospreay, if there was anybody that was gonna reestablish that belt to what it is, it's gonna be him. We just saw him with the IWGP US title last year, kind of doing that same thing, even main eventing a lot of New Japan shows with that. Is Will Ospreay gonna pull up the SGW Uganda? I give that more than a 0% chance of happening. Could he pop back up in Rev Pro? Pretty sure that could easily be arranged. Like, I think, as far as the unification, I haven't got I haven't thought that personally. But you mentioned the Continental title. It's a good lane to keep Okada in. Obviously, Swerve's a world champion. He's got his own lane. And then Ospreay, if you're not going to get him involved with those, you kind of got to give him something too. So it's almost like this three-headed monster of these different guys that, all have great matches and, great fan connections, whether they're heels or baby faces, kind of staying out of each other's way and then still working with this phenomenal roster that's put together. Because I got a little line where I say, Tony Khan has 200 of these. Anytime one of these matches gets announced, there's that, Will Ospreay versus Roderick Strong. And that's going to be insane.
That's going to be Roddy's best match in this whole company. And it's crazy because in true fashion, Rich, I'm sure you've seen all the memes and shit. Anytime anyone posts the graphic of every Will Ospreay and AEW match, it's like,
yes,
wow, every match he's had is just he's made everybody look sensational. So Roddy Strong, double or nothing. It's your time, buddy.
Yep, step right up.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna single-handedly whoop the whole undisputed. Those guys. He's gonna whoop all of them. Yeah, he's gonna whoop the undisputed single-handedly, make them hot again, and he's gonna have no help when he does it. And I think it's gonna be fucking awesome to watch.
We got a couple minutes left. Let's get into that prepped and cooked, man. We were almost in debate mode off air, but who you got for
Shouts
prep
out
this
to
week?
y'all.
First of all, Borg in the building. Borg in the building. The intro, Jesus Christ. You put your foot in that one, sir.
Ridiculous intro, man. Big smoke for that, brother.
Sometimes you got to work under pressure. You know what I'm saying?
That shit was crazy. We got to upload that clip just single-handedly after the show's over. Just let everybody rock with that one on the page. So
yes, sir.
That was fire. Prepped and cooked. Y'all know what I do every week. Also, pardon the car pad service in case the shit cuts out for a second. Give it about 60 seconds. I'll be back. You know what I'm saying? But Prepped and cooked. You guys know I do this every week. Prepped is our segment where a particular wrestler that I see only for that week is being set up for a bit of a disaster. And cooked is a wrestler that is completely screwed and down the drain for that week. Prepped this week, I was stumped. But in pre-pro, as we talked about it, who did we have come up?
So I think I had misunderstood, the concept of prepped. I do have my cook person. If you give me a second, I'll think of prepped. But
prep,
yeah, you can go ahead.
Ayo, you said someone for prepped. I think you shot a name out. Because my cook and Rich's cook will probably clash, and we could actually debate that. But
let's debate the cooks. Maybe we just got two cooked this week. Debate the cook.
Two cooked? Oh, you said Big Bill was prepped.
Yeah, Big Bill was prepped, and my reasoning for Big Bill being prepped, you were just a champ. Now you come out and you kind of beg Chris Jericho to be down with the crew. Like, you could do better than that, man. You could do better than that. So you're prepped for disaster because Chris Jericho doesn't care about you, bro. He cares about Chris Jericho only.
I think it'll be great, honestly. I think it'll be a really good look for Big Bill. He could use anything right now. Ricky Starks is either on injury or on his way to NXT. So I think this is going to be
it'll give
just
Bill
fine.
something to do.
I think it'll be
giving Bill something to do.
Bill is one of the most underrated guys in wrestling, I think.
Agreed. You see our man's footwork? Shout out to my New York brother from Queens, man. He got the J's, he got the Timbs. You know what the vibes is.
Indeed. As far as Cooked, I'm going to take Hook on this one. I was in the building to watch the match with Jericho. Of course, that match was it had a lot surrounding it. There was a lot of chance for someone to retire in that match, but like my man James on One Nation Radio said, ironically, he was still the best person in the match because there are times where Hook just like the offense doesn't quite add up to the aura, and the aura isn't quite what it was. Primarily because there's not as much of a new car smell on him anymore. And I just don't know how he's going to continue to progress as an in-ring performer without, the reps, because it's hard as hell to get on AEW TV. Like there's not, a performance center. There's not, it's whatever. It's whatever you do in the ring. That's going to be how you learn. So, he could use, I think, resting his face a little while. Like, if you want to send him somewhere else, there's plenty of global partners. Hook to Mexico or Hook to, New Japan. Like, you saw what it did with Jack Perry. Like, you
Hook
get
to NXT. Hook to NXT, man. Hook to NXT.
I think I was talking about this with Keeks, or Lyric actually. Send Hook was never more appropriate. Right after that Samoa Joe match, he should have gone on excursion.
Right. Yeah. I could easily see that. There's just more reps, and these guys got to be wrestling every day when they're in their formative years. Like Hook's, I don't know, he's 25, maybe 26. Like,
yeah, he's got time.
And then and it's not necessarily about his age. It's about, okay, this guy's been on national television since 2020 or 2021, so he's got 4 years on TV. However, the reps don't match the years, so they got to get this guy working every day. And a lot of the women are in that particular situation as well.
Okay, right. I could fuck with that. I fuck with that reasoning for Hook being cooked. This week, I think on my side, I was gonna go with the easy choice of Commander, like I do every other week. That Commander has a match on AEW, but I thought it was a little, send in Commander if you need a pin. That was a little too obvious of a cook. So I think the cooked for me this week would probably have to be Kyle Fletcher, the Ring of Honor television champion, who gets a world title match after not winning a match since October. I think he is absolutely cooked when it comes to even defending that belt. He's defended it at the pay-per-view last Ring of Honor time. What was the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view? Ayo?
I believe that was Supercard.
Can't remember the match. Couldn't even remember the match that he had. But he's had a lot of.
I think it was
Lee Johnson.
Lee Johnson, yep.
And this furthers my point of why I feel like, man, he is just cooked. He went from a Lee Johnson, a world title match. He's got prime opportunity. He was in Atlanta with the Will Ospreay debut match. I think the best way to save Kyle Fletcher right now is to really remove this Don Callis family shit, cut this shit short, bring back Mark Davis as soon as possible, and give us that United Empire reunion that we all are faithfully waiting for. Too much Don Callis last night for me, and although Don Callis is using his powers to give everybody title shots or pull strings and such, they're a group of jobbers. Takeshi's going to face the same fate to Moxley whenever he faces him again. It just feels as though that group is fried, and Will Ospreay could beat the whole Undisputed Coldom by himself without the Don Callis family, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So I think it's either Hook. We do a mashup this week. It's Hook and Kyle Fletcher for me, and until Kyle Fletcher gets a W on TV, then I can say, all right, he's got a chance. But right now, he is a punching bag every single time he is on camera, with the ROH TV title at that.
Damn. I don't know if I agree, bro.
Okay.
I got somebody different, and it's somebody we love.
Pentagon?
Will Hobbs, bro.
Ooh.
Pack him up, bro.
Yeah. Ayo.
I was thinking about that too.
Ayo, just say it. Come on, man. Just wait on it. Just, you got to let it build. Let it play out. You know what I'm saying? Just watch how it goes. What's the line that everyone uses on the internet? Let's see how it plays out. I think it is.
He's also actually injured, so yeah, he actually is cooked.
It's cooked. Yeah, that's a
there we go.
Well done.
I
There
mean,
we go.
yo, Rich, let everybody know. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I think it's time to split the AEW. It's been time. It's been time, but I think we'll see what happens as far as the roster splits. Official hard roster splits. I don't really think it's happening anytime soon if it does happen, but it's been time. You know what I mean? Like if we're gonna have these titles, give it its own thing. Like we don't see NXT championships mix and mingle too much with WWE championships. Should be the same thing, and that should be the place where there's extra reps. Do that in smaller buildings. I like when they were doing it back. It was at Universal Studios because it kind of looked a little bit more like its own thing than it does just like as the after show or whatever. But
Yo,
yeah, it's
dog,
been time to split that.
When
But
I saw
with that being said,
the Guns come out with the trios title, I just couldn't believe it. With both belts, I was like, oh fuck.
yeah.
Oh fuck.
That
Back it
being
up.
said, Rich, I appreciate you. Let everybody know once again where they can find you, where the shows are, what new music is. I saw you drop something new on the timeline earlier, music wise. So whatever you got going on, let everybody know what's good.
Oh, appreciate you you guys having me on. We'll definitely have to talk in the future and all that.
Yeah,
You guys
yeah.
can follow me at Rich Latta 32 on Twitter or X, whatever they are calling it these days. I host One Nation Radio for the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Type it in on YouTube or anywhere you hear your podcast, Spotify or any. I got an app I use. Let me see what it's called. Podcast Republic. That's what I use. But
Right.
yeah, so check us out there. I actually got a song I put out with Anthony King and Montezi. It's called "Coming for Everything." It's kind of like a Swerve Strickland anthem, I would say. And there was also, I got some other stuff working as well. But AW Who We Are Part 2 as well on deck, probably in June if I had to look at it.
Word up.
Fire.
Word up.
Sorry I didn't spend
Appreciate
much
you, my
time
bro.
with you today, brother. We'll catch up, but thanks for coming on the podcast, and we'll have you
Awesome,
again
man.
some other time.
For sure, man. That intro, killer, man.
Thanks, brother. Spread the word. My son needs what is he? He's 3 years old now. He's size 9 shoes. You know what I'm saying? Let's go, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen.
Let's
Book me.
go.
I got you.
Let's go. Speaking of that, book me too. If you're on Fiverr, you need podcast intros and all that too. I can take care of you on all that too. So
Yes, sir.
for sure.
My boy.
I'll jump up out of here though.
Yes, sir.
Later, Rich. Appreciate you.
Peace.
From one
RSC.
dope ass guest, from one dope guest to another.
Hey,
Seindole, what up?
Clap it up.
What up? It feels
How
good
you
to
feeling,
be in
girl?
here. I'm good. I'm coming off of a birthday.
Happy
Yes, you are.
birthday,
Happy belated.
Taurus gang.
Tuesday,
Taurus
right?
gang. Yes,
Happy
yes,
birthday.
yes. Did a live show and everything. Got the best gift of all, and that's watching Trip do what he do best, and that's whoop that trick. So
Whoop that
I
trick.
really can't complain. I can't complain at all.
That's crazy. I'm actually going to be doing the pod on my birthday, May 9th. It's a Thursday, so I'm going to be podding on my birthday that day. So
Listen, I was
shout out to us content creators. We are very serious. about it.
word.
We
I was
dedicated.
like, the
Dedication,
hustle
man.
don't stop for nobody. I was like, I really could. I can't believe we just did that.
Nah, I think I got the little technical difficulties, but I do have the graphic from her show that she did. So Seindole is the host of Watch What Happens Next.
Gang.
It's an NXT show, and this was the graphic from this past Tuesday and all that. So she ran down spring breaking, which we're gonna jump into when she gets her tech back up and running and all that. But yeah. So in the meantime, Book was
Word.
good. How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, man. You know what I'm saying? Live, well, rested a little bit, I guess, as much as you can be. Working double full time, having a baby. Hey,
What's
she's
this
back.
thing
Let's do it.
doing?
Enough about
No.
me.
Tech issues. I feel
It's all
you.
good.
All right.
I'm still.
Yo,
I'm from the car
technology-
pad right now, so my shit gonna be a little lag during a little bit of this too. So it's okay. You know what I'm saying?
Technology
We
will never have a face turn. It just won't happen. So
Always
it's gonna be
heal.
all right. It's always
Always
that's it.
heal.
Cameras
Always
all
heal.
looking spiffy though. I'll tell you that much. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all of our good camera work right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Everybody
Nah,
looking
we're
clean,
doing
crisp.
good. We all look good and
fucking with it.
hydrated.
I'm fucking with it, man.
He
You know what I'm
said
saying?
hydrated.
Got the jerks rolled. You know what I'm saying? Got the
Oh,
cups poured.
sheesh.
You know what I mean? It's RSC Thursday nights. Appreciate y'all for tapping in as always. We back.
Just not gonna touch anything. I highly apologize for that. That is
Nah, it's
never
all
You're
good.
go.
You good?
It's gonna
It's
be
all
just
good.
Good.
If you check
Technology
our
has a mind
catalog,
of its own. Technology
yeah.
can
In the
do
height of a
its business.
computer, And I had to somebody got me a new computer for my birthday, and I don't know how to use it
Hey.
yet.
Oh.
So we just
Now,
now
see,
know
you're
going
talking
forward,
about
we
good
won't be.
problems to have, though.
Yeah.
I know,
This is
right?
a collab waiting to happen, by the way, too. You know what I'm saying? A lot
Absolutely.
of people hit us say, yo, we can't wait for you to be on the show. We're going to be watching. Oh, yeah, especially the NXT folks.
Really?
It's a lot of NXT folks that, you know what I'm saying, are tapped in. I call myself the resident NXT guy in RSC. So,
We
you know what I'm
need
saying? I'm the one that
more.
has the gall to sit and watch on Tuesday nights. It'd be painful sometimes, but, you know,
Yo.
I'm here. I'm dedicated. You know what I'm saying? I really try my best. You know what I mean? But
We
good
were,
seeing you, though. We saw you live at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? We was all in
Yes.
Philly.
And stand deliver.
How was your experience of NXT live in Philly?
Well, it was a complete not gonna lie, it was a 180 of going to Deadline, because I also did go to Deadline before that. And I didn't realize I was watching someone, we talking about stories in wrestling so much. I didn't realize we were talking about somebody literally getting to finish their story, and that's Trick Williams. So to be there at like such a small arena, by the way, the arena was like really small. It had to be maybe, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the theater at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, of course.
So that
course.
same
Okay.
setup they had at Deadline was that setup of that I compared it to. And so, though, what I loved about it though was literally the fact that you can feel the pandemonium from the fans to the wrestlers. So it was never really a dull moment of that was like, I joke one night, I'm like, all right, we learned I'm not a floor seat girl. Probably won't be until it's another basketball game. So it was just like my real first big time going to an NXT show, because I've never been to Florida either. My last NXT before that was NXT Takeover in Brooklyn, the last Brooklyn one they had, where
Word.
Ricochet won the North American Championship. That was my last NXT show. And so fast forward to that, and I'm like, I don't know if I can get with like the new kids. Like, can I cheer for a Braun Breaker? Is the hype really behind Trick Williams the way they say it is? Is like Carmelo different than Christian? Like, it was just like exceeded my expectations. So then we get to stand deliver, and I'm like, whoa! Like the place is packed. It's
Yeah.
nothing like what I saw at Deadline. The place
It
is
was like
packed.
14,000 that night, right? Something like that.
It was
16.
packed.
16. Yeah, it was packed.
16.
Fully loaded.
Not an empty seat in the house. Like I was just happy
Yeah.
overall, because a lot of people like doubt 2.0 and they doubt the new, I guess they call it yellow and gold. I mean, yellow.
It was a
black
painful
now.
era. The
Yeah.
pre-post black and gold was really tough. Like
So,
that
like,
Ciampa, Ziggler, Braun Breaker wave was that was wavy, super wavy era.
Yeah.
But they've come a long way
They
since.
come a long way. So it was just good to be off the audience and having that energy, and people like, there are people sitting down, but there are people also cheering. Like, you expect that, because I'm glad it's doing what they're trying to do. It's just making it a pre-show for WrestleMania's night 1 and 2. So I went to a pre-show, in my opinion, to see who's next, who's going to be at WrestleMania possibly next year.
In the next year or the next year after that, for sure.
Right.
For sure.
What's the reaction for the chairman live? Are they rocking with Sean Spears live?
See, the thing is, I'm biased with Sean Spears coming back right about now, because I'm like, why? But at the same time, people were here for it. I mean, people were just like interested in seeing how he would be up against Joe Gacy, because people like Joe Gacy. And then when
he's erased trying to
like
erase
him.
that schism thing, like
right, he's gonna always be over, because he's another indie. He's another like not big indie darling, but he is still an indie darling. And
that Sami Callihan, John Moxley wave,
yeah, and he used to do shows in Philly, so they're familiar with him. So he was always going to get over, but I was just like, okay, you're doing the Rich Holland thing. You're kind of being a manipulator. Like, where's your story? And they put on a good match. So overall, people love the match. I don't really think they're really paying attention to Sean Spears coming back yet. I mean, I talked about on my show, Watch What Happens NXT. We had like a million guesses, and none of them were Sean Spears. But then I was like, I forgot he hasn't been on TV in a minute. So it was kind of like, it's messed up. But then I was like, part of me was like, yo, so Okada chose WWE, right? Because these vignettes, you know, like, is Shinsuke coming back? Like, it was a bunch of people we didn't think it would be. Sorry, Sean, not to slam you, but it was. If you ever see this,
soul love, Sean. Yo, spring breaking. I hadn't tuned in I'm definitely not like the most regular NXT watcher, but I tuned in. And I saw a video
you
earlier.
Do Champions Watch. So you want to do Champions Watch when we do the Breakin'? You can knock that out the way.
Oh yeah, we can do that. So Champions Watch. Let's bring that up. Explain what that segment is, good sir.
We got no theme music for it yet, but Champions Watch. Basically, we all pick a champion that we were watched throughout the week. We gauge them. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of our way to quickly recap the champions that have been going on throughout the week.
Oh, nice music.
Yeah, that was good. Good music.
Now we in it.
It came out of nowhere.
My champion for this week that I'm picking is Logan Paul, U.S. title. I'm very curious where that belt's going to go in regards to is going to be LA Knight, Randy Orton. Is Logan Paul going to have the gigantic run? Vaughn, what up?
What up, Vaughn?
Is Logan Paul going to have the gigantic title run for the rest of the seasons? I think we're going to get a new triple threat elimination. I think that's the motif they've been doing every week is you're going to get a triple threat match to determine the number one contender. I'm cool with it. I'm fine with it because the matches have been pretty damn solid. So I think we see either Randy Orton, Logan Paul, or Randy Orton, LA Knight for Backlash. I still think Logan will retain and have the belt until at least Cleveland and SummerSlam. So I'm rocking with Logan Paul right now, the U.S. title for this week. We haven't seen a lot, but I think this week in particular, since he hasn't been around, will be his week to have a moment and Nick Aldis be like, hey, time to put that belt up, buddy. Backlash in 2 weeks. Who y'all got?
Got it, Seindole.
It's called Championship Watch. I'm not saying it incorrectly, am I?
Championship Watch.
Okay. I'm interested in seeing where Roxanne's going to go with the NXT Women's Championship a second time. I kind of on my show, I gave her the biggest lick, listen, you gotta deliver like this to me because the first time around, she was the golden child. She's
too cheesy, way too cheesy.
Yeah, too cheesy. She's the youngest. She's the fastest, strongest. She's the pocket rocket of the division. You know, she was the girl who accomplished everything too soon. She just came off a breakout win. She just came off of being a tag team with Cora Jade. She was a champion after her deadline win, the first ever deadline win winner. She did a lot of things young. And of course, we all know because I have role models and I want to be like my role models. But now I kind of gave her a hard slack because I didn't think she could pull off a heel run. Her turn was perfect, in my opinion. That was the way I would have went for it to go. Like, why not just go for the prime target, which is the current champion? The woo is me story kind of caught me off because it's like, I don't want to hear that, like, oh, I never lost it, or I was injured, or I was forced to defend it. Like, what do you think champions do? Sit there and collect water? They don't. They sit there and defend their belt. So the whole woo is me, give me what I deserve, stomp like a child thing, I thought that's where the heel run was going at first. But now, especially after her having the conflict with Ava, who's doing a great job as GM, in my opinion, I think that there's more to see here, like as far as who's going to step up. And we're talking about 2.0, that era of NXT starts kind of fading out. I'm wondering in the next few months, because I think she's going to have this title a lot longer than she did her first round, and especially now that there's another belt for the women.
It's going to be a while. I think she's going to be the champion for a good minute. She's going to have that run that she should have had previously now. Like, I don't see anyone taking the belt off. As loaded as that division is, I just don't see anyone taking the belt off her for a hot minute.
Not at all. I don't think so. I think she has a long wave of people to prove herself against. I'm for one, I'm campaigning for Lash Legend to step into the fold. There's a lot of other talented women she got. Yeah, she's kind of been proving herself. There's a lot of other talented young women in the fold that I think deserve it. But I'm waiting to see. I definitely think she's gonna have it for a while.
I'm gonna have to chime in here. I think my personal watch this week for Champion Watch is probably gonna be Willow. And the reason I say that is because I really hope she's not in no like crazy holding pattern. I feel like she's
you got on.
Yeah,
I was just saying to Rich, I was like, yo, that Mercedes. We were recapping Dynamite. I was saying like, yo, that 32 days that Mercedes was saying, like, kind of just echoed in my head, and I'm like, Is that really going to be as long as her title reign? It's 32 days. Like,
I'm
holy
all
shit.
for whatever they do, because at the end of the day, we're a spectator. I want to see where the movie goes. Like, it is what it is. But if we are getting some bullshit where, like, every time Willow opens her mouth, Mercedes interrupts, I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to take this shit, dog.
Yeah, man.
I was saying the same thing when I watched it. I was just like, so I'm like, you're just gonna keep cutting her off every 5 seconds. So yeah, come on. Like,
I have another take on another champion in AEW that I'll save for later if it happens to come up, but that's my champion watch this week. What you got, Ayo?
I'm going with this one particular champion over in TNA only because we had a guy re-signed with TNA by the name of Mike Santana. So my champion to watch right now is Moose because he's going to lose that championship to Mike Santana. Mike Santana just recently signed. I haven't obviously been on the air, so I haven't watched this today's episode, but this is the first episode of Impact that he's been on in about 5 years, right? He's coming back. He's going straight for that main event slot, and he will be the TNA World Champion pretty soon. You know what I mean? Like, we just got to get the roads to crisscross a little bit. I think
anyone but Matt Hardy. Anybody
but Matt Hardy.
And you know something? Mike doesn't do a lot of interviews. I'm gonna see if I can get him on here.
Yeah, Mike.
I didn't understand what happened with that. We'll get into that a little bit.
With Matt Hardy?
With Matt Hardy going back,
yeah, that was a little.
It was weird.
Creative.
I think.
Did you hear any of his like interviews after he did it though? Like what he mentioned about that, how it's like. At least he alluded to the fact that it's not like Matt Hardy is TNA. It's like Matt Hardy is whatever the fuck he is right now.
Yeah, he's
Matt Hardy's
freelancing
not
right
like
now.
signed anywhere, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
He's like, this is the place where it was birthed, and this is the place where it'll be accepted the most. And
hey man, let him get his Rebby shit off. Let him get his family off. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it. Play the hits, baby.
Play the hits, man. Get your money, boy.
Let's get to NXT Spring Breakin. Night 1, right? It's night 1?
Yes, night 1.
Night 1. Very solid show. I actually, I enjoyed it. I didn't get to do a law take for it. It was too late at night when I caught it, but I think it was actually a very solid showing. Trick having the best match of his career thus far, I think, with Ilya. Ilya does bring out the best in quite a lot of people. He's a wrestler's wrestler. He's not the most, enjoyable, I think, outside of the ring. I think it's a little too campy for me, but I just think wrestling-wise, like, he put on a hell of a show with Trick. With the Trick win, I'm just very cautious about this NXT main event scene, and I was excited for you to join because I couldn't wait to finally talk NXT's fucking horrendous main event scene with someone that watches NXT regularly. Because this revolving door of Trick
is it that
Ilya,
bad? Is it really that bad?
Yeah, it's really that bad.
It needs some work.
Okay.
So, and I think me and Chad have the same brain, which is why this is gonna work. Because when I first started watching NXT, is because I thought that the main roster had a women's problem. So that's what gravitated me to NXT in the first place. And then I'm watching NXT. I'm like, NXT has a main event problem because it's insane. So you have to realize that there's main events there's matches that should have been main events that weren't main events. Like, if we're gonna, and I understand it was the hype of Trick Williams in this episode, that made it the main event. But if we're really being completely transparent, the women should have closed. Like the way they open the show is, the way that story's been built, the way that the way that Tatum Paxton has been able to take herself from a background player to one of the main person of interest in the storyline, the way that Lyra can now go on and just like prove, because a lot of people think she's boring. I don't find her boring. I find her to be that. I know a lot of people find her to be boring. I don't find her boring. I find her to be the type of person I'm like, yeah, I can root for you. Like, yeah, girl,
I'm with that.
Speaking life into me,
squad,
I'm with you.
I was with the boring squad.
But she's a good fighting champion. Let's be real. So I just think that they haven't had, and I'll be real honest with you, even at that, we're speaking about that main event she had with Becky was so predictable. They have a predictability
very
because every single, if you look at past and I go all the way as far as back as Stand Deliver LA, they've had a very predictable main event problem up until Obafemi cashed in his Breakin
guy.
contract. That was
And
perfect.
Guy
You
right
want to know?
there.
You want to know the litmus test for that too? I'm not a constant watcher of the product. I don't watch it weekly. I don't watch it monthly. Sadly, I don't watch it. But what I will say is, I even know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like I know spoiler. I know what's gonna happen. Like I can see the match and I can tell you who's gonna win just from looking at it. Like I can't say I don't know who these people are. I have an understanding of what's going on. I'm just saying, like, for someone who's not even totally tuned in,
Right.
I can kind of predict who's gonna win these matches too.
And it's like,
So.
I go back to real quickly. I'm like, he gave hints, right? But we've also, I'm so burned. I want to say scarred by like people
Burned is
losing their,
crazy.
yeah, like people cashing in their money in the bank and it don't work out the way it's supposed to sometimes.
Fair.
And I'm like, all right, I'm
Fair.
spoiled by that. So maybe maybe he's gonna cash in and Dragon Lee's gonna catch him off, and that's gonna start their whole feud because he lost. And it's like, wait, oh shit, he won. He went for the North American Championship instead of like everybody's expecting him to go to the NXT Championship.
Mm-hmm.
But he went for the North American, and I'm just like, oh, I did not see that coming. That's maybe 1 out of 50 episodes of NXT that has not been predictable. Like, a lot of main events have been predictable. A lot. And it's like, how do you fix something that you guys are clearly building to us is going to end a certain way? Because that's what that's necessarily what they're doing.
Do you know what I'm afraid of? We're about to be sitting through this summer. Trick Williams versus Karrion Kross for the entire summer.
That needs
don't
to
put
be a
that in the
one-time
air.
deal. Don't.
Yeah, don't put that in the air.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
if it's gonna happen, let it happen like once.
Yeah.
You know,
car
like,
pack service.
Nah.
let
I'm
that.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, you good.
yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Trick Williams, Karrion Kross for the whole summer is gonna scare the shit out of me, yo.
I don't see that though, because Karrion Kross has already been there. Why would he do it twice?
He's coming back. He's bringing a group with him. You saw the promo that they cut. I think they're gonna be an obvious draft. I think they're gonna be there. AOP's gonna go after the tag titles with the Good Brothers, AO's least favorite tag team.
Good brothers
You know
are
what I mean?
rough. Good
They
brothers
are
are
rough.
rough.
Yeah.
But yo, they're actually doing some damn good work right now. Yo.
They
This
are.
is a resurgence for them. But yeah, we're gonna get Trick, Dijak, Trick, and Karrion Kross, and it's gonna be a bevy of odd pairings that I see Trick Williams with, because
You
outside
don't
of
see
that,
anybody new.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, does the draft, like, obviously we don't know. Like, draft, doesn't happen until tomorrow, but maybe there's some like really significant shakeups in the main event division that comes out of the draft. Like we talked a little bit last week about who do you think, from SmackDown or from Raw definitely needs to be drafted to either show. Who does everybody see that could, really benefit from being drafted to NXT or from NXT up to the roster? And, what's a move that can really ignite some fresh energy?
before the injury, I was championing Jimmy Uso. I think Jimmy Uso being on NXT and being an NXT champion would have been insane. Like, I would have been a huge, like, ha ha,
Jay Uso.
I'm a champion and you're
Jay,
not.
Jay or
Jay?
Jimmy? Jay or Jimmy?
Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso. I think Jimmy being on
Yeet
NXT.
or no yeet?
Yeah,
No,
neither
he-
no he.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
So,
Jimmy being on
right,
NXT would have been
confirm
fire. I think he would have really had people like,
As
oh
a
shit,
heel?
like as a heel, as a champion, like it would have been an even bigger like slap in the face of Jey Uso. Like, yo, I'm the world champion of NXT. Like, you can't even win a match like without.
That's true.
You can't win a match that
Fair.
matters. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, I
someone's
think
done
Yo,
it.
am I bugging? Am I bugging that I feel like Jay's more believable as a heel than Jimmy is? I don't know. Am I bugging out?
you're not wrong.
Maybe I'm bugging out.
You're not wrong.
Nah,
You're
nah,
not
nah.
wrong.
No.
I think Jimmy is. I'd give it to Jimmy. I think like Jay I think has been able to.
He's great as a babyface. I'm just saying I don't really like Jimmy as a babyface. Maybe I'm bugging.
Nah, you're right. Jimmy as a heel works. Jimmy, I
Did
can't
say that
see
wrong
Jimmy.
the first time. I might be really high, guys. It's whatever I meant is that the correct way is what I meant. You know, let me just go with that.
Yes,
Whatever
sir.
the right way is.
I love the transparency. Listen.
Yeah.
I'm going with
Yeah.
what's correct
Yeah.
here.
I really,
I meant to say
Oh,
the right
yes.
thing.
Yeah, no doubt.
I really need to see Tony go to the main roster finally.
Tony
I
D'Angelo
think they need a
has
character.
run his course on
has.
NXT.
He has the family. Take the family with him. Listen, he got a lawyer that knows how to punch. If you got to lead them down there for a little bit, the way that Santos left the boys down there for a little bit, do
Yes.
that because he has nothing left for the NXT. Like, you gave North American Championship chance. You didn't.
Man's just fighting for the Heritage Cup.
Dude, that's a step down.
It's crazy. He's fighting for the Heritage Cup against Charlie Dempsey, who's light years better than him. If we're being real.
Yeah, Chad, do you think Noam Dar is still like floating around afraid of you from like the way you approached him that night?
That's my guy, yo. That's my dude, man.
He's
You
a
know?
sweet. They are the
Wale
nicest.
Mania?
Him and Aura meant to the sweetest
Chad checked
guys.
his ass.
After I approached them, they were like, "Oh."
Chad was
thanks.
like, Noam Dar. That homeboy just like, you saw his head turn one way like an owl and his body went the complete other way. So I was like, I knew he wasn't ready for Chad. I wasn't ready for Chad at that moment either, but it was.
I
great.
couldn't believe it was
great.
him. You were running off with R-Truth. I was like, no, I'm Dar. Oh shit!
I was tricking off with R-Truth. We were fucking working the crowd out there, you know.
Crazy comparison. It's like you're with R-Truth and I'm like wilding out for Noam Dar. I'm like, yo, bro, I fuck with your shit, son. Like, you actually, you know what I mean? Like, you got me. Like, I'm a fan. Like, I'm genuinely a fan of the group. Like, keep doing your thing. You're like, hey, bro, thanks. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And then, like, shortly after, he, like, challenged everyone on the streets of Philly who had a championship belt.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did, son.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Anybody main roster wise will go back to NXT because all the people that are there now are the people I thought. I definitely thought the Artists of Pain would show their ass somewhere down the line.
They're coming back. The whole group.
They coming back, and then to see. I told everybody from the get that Shayna Baszler was going to help Lola Vice because it just makes sense. And then it didn't help another predictability thing. They just announced they moved Battleground. So I was just like, it's somebody that starts with an S just like me. It's got to be Shayna Baszler. And as soon as her music hit, I was like, what did I tell you guys? Like,
I know.
But
I'm not mad at Shayna Baszler being. I'm not mad at seeing Shayna Baszler in NXT. Whatever it. When does Underground officially start? Did that start already?
So they're doing the first ever female Underground for night 2 of Spring Break.
Night 2, right, and she's the second.
It'd be the first. Natty and Lola Vice would be the first 2 women to do it.
That was such a random like use of Natty, though. I'm like, you could have actually put Carmen in the match instead. I just feel like that would have been more.
That's Natty's. That's Natty's like. That's Natty. That's just she's
just there.
It's like her third, fourth time being in NXT. She did it for Cora. She just got done with a program for Roxanne. I wouldn't expect anybody else. If what I would have loved if Shayna would have been like, "Oh Lola, you think you tough? Come on, sis."
That kick was crazy though. Shayna took that kick to the head and was just like.
Yeah, Carmen surprised me at that whole
segment.
She
did. I didn't see that coming with those moves.
Shayna getting hit and falling out like that surprised me. Like,
that
you just at Bloodsport. You was just at Bloodsport. You know what I mean?
We watched Bloodsport. So, like, the fact that she took that kick from Carmen was kind of crazy. Lola is a really, she's blowing up. You know what I'm saying? She's an internet commodity. You know what I'm saying? The men love her. She's getting
her and Jada
a thing in the ring. I think Lola's got a shot at making it on the main roster and hopefully not joining the Latin American division that currently is a revolving.
Here he goes, yo, Chad, please stop.
Yo, it's a revolving door on SmackDown.
But listen.
We gotta update our disclaimer at the beginning of the podcast too. Chad loves all communities. He'll be fine, and everything is gonna be great today. Don't worry about it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't name a faction you can't name a wrestling company that has a stronger Latin American division besides CMLL. You know what I mean? Like, it's SmackDown or die. You know what I mean? They're killing it right now with their revolving door. So I just think if Lola goes up, I just don't want to see her and Elektra Lopez like every week. Like, this is what we're doing. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I mean, do I see her at any point in time? I said when they try to make Elektra seem like she was gonna help the LWO, I'm like, her attitude, I'm like, she's not a people person. She doesn't want to come to the cookout on time. Like, she's a high and by type girl. I don't see her in anybody's faction. Do I see her taking that help from Shayna to beat somebody that's already beat Natty a couple times? 1,000%. I see her climbing up the ladder by using and abusing the system as much as she could. But I don't see her being a girl's girl. It's just my opinion.
Seindole, what you think about Dijak? Think about his trajectory right now.
1,000% improvement. I almost hate that he had to go back to NXT to be Dijakovic again.
Had to get rid of that retribution shit, man. That shit.
About to say,
yeah, we're years removed from retribution.
Him surviving, but the fact that he survived retribution and made it out, you know, with his credibility still intact as good as possible. That's
Yes.
just a testament to like you have some talent there. You know what I mean? Like, because that was rough.
Because he didn't. And then
Not in the
let's be
Triple
real,
H era. That
he
shit ain't
didn't
flying,
deserve
man.
that. I think they saved him by putting him in NXT because like he was going to be released a lot earlier than that. Like he would have been on that dirty dozen from last year.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he really would have been there.
And-
But you know what? Go back to NXT, repackage yourself, have any match. Like, listen, the man walked out with a crooked finger. He won my respect after that.
You know,
In
speaking
an
of Dijak,
alternate, I was just gonna say, in an alternate universe, we have a healthy Keith Lee and Dijak still wrestling in the same place.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
we have them still wrestling
Putting
each
classics
other.
on.
Years
Putting classics
later,
on. Yeah.
they're still wrestling each other. It's actually funny we said this because I just realized that all of that. I just realized this, that whole Retribution faction is no longer there, but Dijak. Like
and Michin.
and Michin, but she came back. So like
Mhm.
that, I just realized as we're talking, I'm like, wait a minute, Ali, Shane Thorpe, who's the other dude that's with Mansoor, Mace?
Yeah, Mason.
gone.
Yeah, like
They're
holy
killing
smokes.
the Sitting Circuit too. They just did weren't they just in that African wrestling thing? Like they actually went there,
Yeah, they went to the soft ground.
living their life.
Uganda. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all
they're
I
doing
can
that.
They
say.
just did a
You know?
great interview with Maven, by the way. I think it should be checked out, where they give the breakdown of like how everything is now backstage compared to how it was back then during Maven's era. I think it was a really, really good interview, and I was like, I'm kind of more interested in these guys now. So that was cool. That was definitely cool. But
man.
that main event scene in NXT, it needs help. It truly needs a shot in the arm, some
it
injection.
needs to shock me at least every other week. That's what I think it needs.
I don't
They
want to
give me
see Trick and Mello 8 times this summer.
But you're not going to, because
I hope
Melo's on a trajectory. I think Melo's going to be the one. I think between Braun and Melo, they're going to find a way to incorporate that, take that U.S. title off of Logan Paul. Because what better
That's a
way to
sleeper.
shock the system than it be somebody brand new?
That's a
I don't
sleeper.
even think it's going to be any. Huh?
I didn't even
I
think
could
about
see-
them taking the
yeah.
U.S. title off them. I'm so focused on LA Knight and Randy Orton that I was like, damn, you're
No.
right. Braun
Braun-
is right there.
No.
Braun makes a lot of sense, and
No.
they're giving him the squash match build right now.
Yeah,
So that makes a lot of sense.
I think in the long haul, if they want to make a match, and I think not that he wins at SummerSlam because I think that's too early. But I think if they do a just one-off, like show everybody the best of the best, you got somebody who literally two people weren't WWE, weren't wrestlers to be safe, but literally made in the factory that is WWE. Because Logan Paul openly said he trained at Performance Center. Braun was a footballer turned wrestler. He's genetically made to do this shit, but you know how many of those we see come and go. That are
We see a lot of
genetically
people
made,
that are supposed to be able, and it
they
don't
don't
work.
exceed the way that he has a former tag team and NXT
Gable
champion.
Stevenson.
Holy
Exactly.
shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What happened to that guy?
What happened?
Backstage.
Oh no, I just
Yeah,
that's allergies right there.
Yeah, that Corbin match was enough. You can't do good against Corbin. You just let's go back to the drawing board, which like way back to the drawing board, as if stop drawing.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see where Lexus King goes from here. They're going to really try hard. They're really forcing this Lexus King thing on us. You know what I'm saying? They're like, hey, he's going to be a staple in NXT no matter what anyone else in the crowd in the IWC says. But I don't see him being in the main event scene. I don't see him being the next guy. I think he's going to be here in that same coasting lower mid card for quite some time.
I don't see a problem with him only because he picked a gimmick that is the most relevant gimmick.
What's his gimmick again?
His gimmick is a mix of the Tiger King versus every guy who thinks they're right in the ICW. And their favorite wrestler is just the best wrestler alive, and they think their opinion is the best opinion.
Tiger
in the
King
world.
is fucking crazy, by the way.
Yeah, but have
mad
you seen
accurate.
the look? You can't look at the look and then look
accurate.
It's apples and apples. It's a Granny Smith and a Fiji. Like you can't separate the two, but it works. You're supposed you need.
He does look like a filthy pawn shop owner or some shit.
Thank
Doesn't
you.
he?
Like the watch is worth 20 grand and he's telling you it's only worth 5. Like, come on, you can't tell me looking at him and don't do that.
He's just like, I
Yo,
gotta
shouts
make
out to
money
all the
on it.
pawn shop owners too. I don't want no smoke when I see you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I probably could get something off you. You know what I mean?
It's only him and
But-
Dom that's still pulling a mullet off, and you know what I'm saying. He's going to give us that mullet. He's going to give it that McDonald's design beard with the funny. You know what I'm saying? This shit is
Dom
crazy.
out here.
Crazy
Dom
drawing.
growing the mustache in now. He's Super Guerrero right now.
Oh yeah,
Super Guerrero.
he's giving Latino heat, Eddie.
Yeah,
That
he's
week
Super
I was
Guerrero.
like, y'all you missing is like the red roses and calling somebody mama.
Even before Latino, this is like WCW cruiserweight. You know what I mean?
Oh my god!
Wait till he
this
start
guy-
giving Liv Morgan the roses.
Oh
I
shit!
don't need that. I don't need it. I
You
don't
want that
want it.
drama when Rhea come back?
Yo,
Damn.
that revenge tour gonna be
She go,
Yo,
yeah,
her
that
name- she's
revenge
about to
tour.
have
Is,
a nickname.
collision.
La
that revenge tour is
Madrina,
about
Liv
to have
Morgan.
Liv thrown off the roof, bro.
She's about to be La Madrina, bro.
right off the new corporate office. Flat.
Give it
Griselda,
She's gonna be Griselda for real. Holy
Griselda.
Let's see. We covered the world title, main picture, the North American title. I don't think Obafemi's losing that belt anytime soon. It's gonna take somebody even bigger than him, I think, to take that belt off him, or it's gonna be a funny multi-man match that's gonna get it done, where it's like he doesn't have to take the pin and he can lose the title. I don't see him going to the main roster anytime soon, but I don't see him losing the North American title anytime soon either. Like, I think he's gonna have an extensive reign.
What do we think of the women's North American championship coming up now?
Oh, yes. When is that supposed to be underway?
So right now, I think they're waiting for the draft and spring breaking to end, and then they'll probably start some type of tournament. So where the winner will be decided. I want to say now, since they push back Battleground and they have Heat Wave in 4th of July weekend, they don't have anything in between. I think they're probably gonna do a televised version of the Great American Bash because it's tradition. You can't get away from Great American Bash. So they don't decide it then. They'll probably wait till Heat Wave, but somewhere down the line, they just literally put up a picture. They don't have an actual belt, which means it's still in production. And the way they're throwing out all the girls that were kind of like background players, the Kalani Jordan and Fallon and Kiana James and Jada Parker, like the way they're throwing out these girls right now, like if you watch Level Up, Jakara Jackson actually has a match where she wins. So they're already giving you a hint of who they want to go after the belt. It's just a matter of when. So there's a lot of contenders, but I say if not by June, hopefully another televised TV show, hopefully by next month.
You know
Is
what?
that the Jada Parker belt?
No,
No,
it's not. It's not going to be.
No?
Jada
just
Parker.
no shade to her. I love her. Like,
No,
No,
yeah.
I'm just asking. I'm only
girl
asking.
knocked
Like,
somebody else ass with her
from
ass. Like,
from an
she did a
outsider's
hip toss
perspective,
with her
this-
ass. So I was just like, you won
Yeah.
on my part. Like, you created.
I was just saying, from an outsider viewing perspective, I just see a lot of conversation about her, maybe more
Yes.
than most. So I'm just looking at maybe like if that's going to be like your mid card, where we still have people kind of on the come up. If there's a lot of conversation around it, why not? Why wouldn't it be? Who else is lined up for that?
There's a heel women's champion in Roxanne Perez. So I think that the dark horse to be the women's North American champion is going to be the blatantly obvious fan favorite Sol Ruka. I think
I can
she
see
will
that.
be- I think
can
she
see
will
that.
be.
If she
the
doesn't
dark
concuss
horse.
herself on the DDT, she's
Yeah, I was
definitely-
gonna. Yeah, you took
Dude,
it from my
I
mouth.
was sitting, if you watch my live stream, I was sitting here like, I had to like prevent myself from like making an ugly face. I was like, girl, like you just got back here. What are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
she's spine bustering herself. You know what I
This
mean?
is late,
What up,
but I
Ralph?
agree with
Ralph,
this
what up?
wholeheartedly, Ralph. My
See-
bad, bro. I ain't see this when you posted it, but
oh my god.
you know what I'm saying. This comment needs to see the light of day, so I had to throw it up. You know what I mean?
Listen,
not
if
wrong
Jordan, if Jordan can sit in the back and do listen, there's background roles for everybody, dude. Like, just be a trainer, maybe. I don't know. Write
It's
some
like,
TV, I don't
if
know.
not Soul, it has to go to a baby face for me. So like,
Kalani. The Chosen, well, let's be real. The Chosen, I want to hold this title and go visit the kids at the Children's Hospital. Type person to really hold it would kind of be Fallon Henley. At
yes,
this
I
point.
think that's another one. Is like you got to give her something to do because her and Kiana have just split up and have essentially swapped places with Toxic Attraction and have just
Yeah.
become let's just find new partners and do the same shit we did as
bitch.
partners, but like,
I
you
just
know
like,
what I'm saying? Like,
bitch. I'm sorry.
yeah, you know that strange bedfellow shit where like you break up and then it's like, let's find new tag partners and do the same shit we just did to break up. So like, I can see Fallon winning that, or Kiana even, just for the sake of Kiana having something to do other than Revolving Door. Tatum Paxley is still growing on me. It's still like, I'm not really there all the way just yet. And then Blair Davenport could be a dark horse as well too, because she's been getting a lot of time. She's been getting a lot of camera time for the most part. So it could be a combination of either of those women. But that's a lot of strong candidates, if you ask me. That's how deep that division is. That's dope.
Right. Like like the fact that they literally, and I always talk about how I like this Royal Rumble, because it's like, okay, you took the best of the two and the women's division and you gave them a Royal Rumble slot. Tiffany Stratton, Roxanne Perez, didn't need no legend, no like Santino Morello dressing up as a woman for the 17th time this year. You didn't need none of that at this Royal Rumble. Straight women from the back, 2 from NXT that deserve it. Boom. My hope, in complete honesty, is that they finally learn how to divide who's who. Like, learn how to divide your strong women for the women's, the NXT Women's Championship, and then the women you want in the North American division. That's it. Because it's a stepping stone.
I like that. It is a stepping stone. And somebody's gotta look credible when they take the belt off Roxanne.
And I also see some people coming back for it that never got it. Like
Natty?
Yeah. I also see, like, wouldn't it be so freaking dope if, for example, if Jade were like, you know what, I didn't go to NXT because there wasn't a lot of opportunity for the women, but now that y'all got this North American belt.
Or even think about Trent, Naomi, right? Because we see that Bianca and Jade are probably going to win that tag.
Right.
Naomi goes down there and just plays around the NXT for a bit. You know, she does 3 months down there.
I like that a lot. I really like that.
I was really just confused as to where she's going to go post this Tiffany Stratton feud, because it's clear Tiffany is going to be the brighter star of the two. Like, I peg her to be the women's Money in the Bank. And I don't want to see Naomi get lost in the shuffle after such a successful TNA run, TNA title reign.
Right.
So I think NXT for Naomi is fucking great. Like, I didn't even see that coming, but I think that would really be the shot in the arm.
Should have a lot of fun matches down there.
A lot brings that star power. You know, that brings that star power. She's been.
And now your Jimmy Uso take isn't so bad.
Not so far.
You're right.
Not so bad, right?
See how it all comes around, sir?
She lives in Orlando.
There you go.
Lives in Orlando. They're in Orlando.
Yeah, right,
you know?
right.
Travel. WWE's saving money now. You know what I mean? It's a smart business decision.
I didn't understand Baron Corbin going down there whatsoever. Like, I was like,
me neither. I was against it.
But now I'm like, all right,
he's a fan favorite.
Corbin? Like, where's he at? Like, where he at?
He's a fan favorite.
Like,
he's
the
super
Wolf Dogs
open.
cracked me up beyond measurable compare, because let's be real, Barn Breaker needed it, because I thought he was also vanilla, no sprinkles or nothing. But now he's given chocolate sundae. He was funny, so he's like colorful rainbow sprinkle every once in a week. Then he started like teaming up with him, and he was starting to give he was starting to give some flavors. So
Nah, he was cooking.
NXT does what it does, and I think it's there to develop everyone.
The tag titles, I think lastly, I think we touched base on every title, but the tag titles, Axiom and Nathan Frazier are the current champions.
Yes.
How long do you think they're going to run with the belts? Do you think they're going to have a long title reign? Do you think the Good Brothers come through and just knock them the hell out of here?
I think it's been a good month.
It's going to bless you. Gesundheit. Salute.
If they pull off a win next Tuesday, that's the night, like that. Give me that type of surprise. I'd be surprised, because it's just like, you look at them versus look at the Authors of Pain. I'm sorry.
I agree.
So that's apples to oranges right there. I'm sorry. Like, it's no way. But you know what?
I hate to ball wash the Good Brothers, but I really wanted them to win the tag titles. Like, I really was like, yo, I'm here for them coming back to NXT. I think they're going to make a major statement. They were doing good work, and now they're just back to the sidelines already.
I try and be careful, because I said the same thing about Dana Brooke last year, and she was doing a really good job with the whole Mentor Kalani go up against Cora Jade storyline, and they released her like 2 days ago. So
who has yet to have a match in TNA, and if she has had a match, it hasn't been anything.
I thought it was tonight.
She's wrestling tonight? Ash by Elegance?
I think so.
shit, if she has a match, then hopefully it's a match that someone fucking wants to point out, because I just know anytime I've seen her on TNA, it's just been, I'm here.
Just being there in the
I'm
balcony
here,
somewhere.
guys. It's like, wow.
She's kind of doing
the
a
balcony.
Zion Lee. She's kind of like I will wrestle on my time.
I
And
think
then
she's
just
parodying
disappear.
Mercedes and Tony at the same time, like Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné, where it's like, look at me, I'm here. And it's like, yo, shorty, you want to get in the ring? Like,
Yeah.
Xia Li is another one I think is going to do great in TNA. I know we didn't touch base on the releases. If we could probably, cut to the releases, because I don't think we spoke about it at all. I think everything happened after our recording last week.
Yeah, Xia Li, let me see if I
Cameron
can find it real
Grimes,
quick.
Yeah.
Von Wagner,
Von Wagner.
the modern day
Jinder.
Maharaja,
Yeah.
Inda Sheer, and
Veer Mahan.
And Von. What did you guys said? Von Wagner, right?
yeah, Von, Cameron. I'm sure AO is probably going to just correct the stats, but I'm pretty sure it's Von, Cameron, Inda Sheer, both of them, Veer and Senga,
Yeah.
Jinder Mahal, Cameron Grimes, Xia Li, and I think I might be missing like one or two other like
I
interchangeable.
think there's more to come.
And there's more to come.
Yeah.
What are our predictions for the release, guys? You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing a lot of people saying that,
I think
Cameron
that
Grimes.
was it, by the way.
That
I
was
think
it?
That was
That
it.
was it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
nice over top.
Cameron Grimes, Von Wagner, Veer Mahan, Sanga, Xia Li, Zion Quinn, and Jinder Mahal. That was it. I think like
Run. Let's talk about the names and individuality before, because I got something for everybody. So you just run the list down one more time.
Ginger,
Yeah, why don't you just start with who's the future X Division champion? Just start with your list. Start with your list. Start with your list of future X Division champions and just knock
Future
those out.
X Division champion Cameron Grimes, y'all. Cameron Grimes is going back to TNA and he's gonna light that division up just how he used to do. But now he's got that WWE Sazone on him, and he can even incorporate a little bit of the To the Moon thing. I don't know if he can bring it with him, but the crowd is still gonna be like,
Hey,
to the
man.
moon.
he can allude
Mustafa
to it.
Ali is fucking killing it right now. So it is
Dude,
what it
he's
is. We'll see.
smoking shit right now in
Yeah.
TNA. Smoking it right now. Like, actually had a match with Jake something that was like,
That was a really good match. That was one of my favorite matches from that pay-per-view.
stupid
That
ending.
was a really good match.
Completely stupid ending, but like,
In unrelated news, but completely related to my level of being high, has Mike Bailey found shoes anywhere yet?
No, you don't need
No.
him. You don't need him.
No doubt. No doubt. I'm just
You don't
asking.
need him. Leave him his shoeless journey alone.
Mike
Like
Bailey
that.
got to win a match, man.
You gotta
Can
win.
Mike Bailey just win a fucking match
Yeah,
at any
that's
point
the problem with him.
in time, bro.
Jobber to the stars, man. He's the
After
king of
that
the
Will
jobber to the
Ospreay
stars.
thing, I was like, see, I was gonna let that rock. Like, y'all
Brooklyn Brawler.
Yo,
Then
it's
we go to
insane.
HOG and he loses to Swerve. I'm like, all right, like now you pulling my chain here, dude. Like, well, what
That's
are we
right. You
doing?
were there. I was gonna say we were all there that night.
We were
too. That was
all
a great-
there.
We
that was
watched
great.
that loss,
Really?
and since
I'm pretty
then,
sure we got bled on. We got bled on that night.
Did you guys really? No, I got
Charles,
spit on.
what's his face?
I got
Damn
spit on
close.
from that
Charles
Charles
Manson.
Manson thing. I was just like,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
awesome. It's the best thing.
And
I'm
what was
pretty
it,
sure we got
Lasombra?
bled on.
Yeah,
up and-
when they went
Crown
up the
Jewel.
thing,
Yeah.
crown jewel title.
total spit. I was like, okay.
Cameron Grimes, X Division champion. I think he's gonna kill it in TNA. I think he's gonna have a hell of a indie run, rejuvenated more than ever when he was early on as Trevor Lee. I think he's gonna come back and kill it. So
Yeah,
know.
Jake
Von
is named
Wagner.
back to Trevor Lee, no?
Trevor Lee, yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Von Wagner. I think he's gonna be a staple in NWA.
I don't know if
Veer
he's
Ma-
going anywhere. I don't know
Yo.
if he's going anywhere.
Von Wagner? Yeah, I don't
No.
know.
He's not gonna
He had an
pop
interview.
AEW, yo. So I just
He
think
had an
he's
interview
gonna.
where he just said he was enjoying the ride, and if someone's like into wrestling, they're gonna talk about all the things you're doing. He just didn't give me that vibe of I'm gonna jump up and join him as soon as 90-day hits, which according to the FTC, if they do pass
That might be out of the
law
window.
where that
Yeah.
might be out the window. You might see him if they pass tomorrow. You might see him tomorrow.
Oh,
but
really?
it's looking like because they're getting rid of non-compete clauses. in
Non-complete
anything.
clauses across the board are out of here,
Job,
according to the FTC.
construction, contracts,
Oh,
athletes. He says this, but I don't
Okay.
see him as I see him as somebody. I mean, could be NWA, but in what aspect?
fighting the NWA World Champion EC3 most likely as
Nah.
Truck
Leave that
Wagner.
for like Jinder Mahal. Leave that for Jinder. Be real honest.
Nah, I think Jinder's all elite.
No.
I think
I
Jinder's
don't-
going to be a part of that like major group of signings that they're saying that AEW wants to keep adding in for the summer. I think Jinder is going to be that. Jinder and Hook,
You think he's
we're
gonna
totally
pull like
getting
a
this.
FU? You think he's gonna pull a FU and go to AEW?
If the money's right, I think he's absolutely going to AEW, or he'll go to TNA and do the resurgence out there. You know what I'm saying? TNA could use an Indian star per se.
Mhm.
Bhupinder Singh really wasn't hitting like that, and the other guys that they had, Rohit Singh, you know, I think he's past his time right now. He's been X-Division champion for years. He's not really there much anyways, and he works backstage. So I think Jinder for either AEW or TNA 100% I think is going to happen. Like, I think he's the Bound for Glory surprise.
You think after Tony Khan shit on him online, he's gonna
He
sign with
definitely did.
AEW?
That's another thing. But you know what though? There's plenty of people that shit on Tony Khan, and Tony's like, "Hey, just come to a show."
Yeah, I
That's
think
what
Jinder
it
is
is.
totally.
There are indie wrestlers that have openly shit on Tony, and then I saw them at Grand Slam, and I was like, "Oh, you here? Okay."
Yes.
He is that
Yeah, you wanna
demographic,
see
isn't he?
great. Yeah,
Oh,
you
God.
know, just
Who else we said? We said Indus Sher. I think Indus Sher goes with Jinder. They will probably reform. Hell, I'll even take the Bollywood Boys. Bollywood Boys, Indus Sher, and Jinder Mahal could be a ridiculous faction, like wherever they go. You know what I'm saying? So I think Indus Sher is going to be all right. They're going to be on their feet. They've got a great story. I think Veer has a great story. Veer or Sangha has a great story. You know what I'm saying?
Sangha.
So, so I think somebody's going to pick them up. Maybe the NWA is a sleeper, but I think they'll be all right. Xia Li
Sangha was
goes
the
to
NBA
TNA.
player, right?
Yeah, the MLB guy. Yes.
MLB, excuse me. Yep.
Xia Li, I think, goes to TNA. I think she'll shoot that knockouts division right in the arm. I think she's great. They could really use a good, credible asset. That's another division that's just spinning wheels right now. They really could use some fresh faces.
They
Jordan
very
Grace.
quickly went from like, oh, this is the best women's division to kind of on the gerbil wheel a little bit. Just kind of running.
Oh, another Jordan
They
Grace
lost it.
division. Oh, okay. Well, here we
They said
go.
that lost their spark a little bit after
Yeah.
obviously using two of the biggest
Yeah,
people
big
that
names.
brought the attention back to the brand. Because
100%.
like
That was pretty bad.
for Deanna to go to AEW, I was like, and there's the bullet
Who else?
wound, and then Naomi goes back to WWE,
then Naomi.
and the bullet wound getting bigger. So
Especially after like Naomi like goes undefeated for damn near a year, and then
Yeah.
she loses, and then she's out. You know what I mean?
And then and then it doesn't help that they literally like, oh, by the way, as a favor to Naomi come back to WWE, why not just keep bringing the TNA Women's Champion into the Royal Rumble and put eyes on her? Because as soon as she's like, you know what, like I tried it with them, let's try it again. I got that relationship now. If she goes, that's fucking it. I'm sorry. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
if Jordan Grace is like picked by WWE, I'm sorry. There's issues.
Right.
Or if she decides to go, I might want to be in AEW. There's issues. I'm sorry.
I can't even think about who's going to take the title of Jordan Grace. And I think I said this on my Lord Take for
Could
Rebellion,
be
but I'm just
Xia Li.
like, who the fuck is... Yeah, Xia Li could be the surprise, like, new face. Because it's like, at this point, Jordan has beaten everyone. She is the Charlotte Flair of the women's division in
really is.
TNA, the Knockouts division. So
She's good though.
she is good. She's very good. But it comes a point where it's like Asuka, like the long reigning champion. It's like, yeah, you're going to have to get his belt up at some point because you've done all you can here with this division. I think we listed everyone for the most part. You've said everyone: Cameron Grimes, Von Wagner, this year. And then I guess lastly, Goldberg will not be all elite anytime soon. How we feel about that?
I'm fine with it.
Someone who actually turns down all elite wrestling, Goldberg, will not be.
Yeah, because that's what we were so upset about.
I don't think anybody asked him. You know what I mean? Like nobody
That's
asked
what we're
him.
so bothered. Not that Tony has to show up in a neck brace to the draft. No, we're solely
Yeah.
concerned about Goldberg.
Tony
turning
never called that
down
man.
All the like, God forbid, like I'm sitting here watching, and mind you, I'm like piquing my interest in AEW now like a little bit because I'm like, all right, you have Bullet Club Gold, and then you have the new All Elite. I'm like, yeah, can y'all give me some War Game vibes? Like, can y'all bring back Stadium Stampede for that? Like, that's where I want the story to go. Like, I don't know if I'm the only one. I feel like I am, but I'm like, can the story go there? Like,
It's going there.
Switchblade,
At least half of that equation. At least half of that
Right.
equation is going there. I think we just got to see who's Team Tony, who is like defending the honor of AEW, so to speak.
Yes.
You know, that's the
Definitely
move.
won't be Bill Goldberg, that's for sure. Too cheesy for him. You know what I'm saying? Because really, just imagine
William Goldberg.
Imagine him and Orange Cassidy having a backstage segment. Holy
At this point, fam, he's about to drop the $10 million bag on Cornette, and it's about to be Cornette that saves Tony Khan, bro.
Word. Listen.
He's about to drop the bag on Corny, bro.
Holy shit. Goldberg
Corny out of
in pockets.
retirement.
We are being robbed of Goldberg in pockets.
I honestly, to speak on that real quick, I never thought we would see the day that Tony Khan did anything in the ring at all, ever. I never thought we would see it.
Say that he's not a storyline guy. He's a booker or something like that. Wasn't that like the
Yeah,
comment?
there's that.
Like more
and there's
like
just
it's more like a matchmaker than a creative. But there's also
I know a
the part,
lot
like,
of people. I'm
Pretty
sorry,
creative
I know a
people.
lot of people with
Yeah.
like social anxiety, and Tony Khan gives off social anxiety vibes.
No,
But
I
listen.
don't.
Did that not feel like a parody last night? Did it not feel
If
like we
I
were watching
hit-
Saturday
yo,
Night
that made
Live
me
on Mad
laugh.
TV?
it
I
was,
was like,
very
this is
odd.
it
a joke.
was
This is a joke.
intentionally or unintentionally. It was the funniest episode of Dynamite ever, bro.
So
Period.
watching this guy, we went to Grand Slam. Like watching Danny Garcia try to get him to pelvic thrust was the most uncomfortable thing
Oh,
for me.
yeah,
in the face of the
we were
earth.
there too.
But
Yeah, we
after
were
he
there.
did it, I could not stop cheering. I'm like, at least you trying. Like you give like corner the party, don't talk to anybody, hold the soda in your hand like this vibe. At least you trying to go to the punch bowl. Like you
Yo.
get
Yeah, but
we're trying.
he's like Tony is like the one beer later guy. Then it's like,
right.
you know what I mean?
We both.
Oh
know what?
my God, guys.
been
I
so
had a fucking
spoiled.
blast.
We've been
Nice
so
guy,
spoiled
Tony.
by the Vince McMahons and the Dixie Carters of the world that like we just wait. He don't got to do all that. But last night he tried. He
Yeah.
tried.
Yeah,
He
took
so
it.
they should have told him how to sell a little bit.
He took
better.
a mic to the gut and just fell flat like he died.
And held his head.
I want
Then he-
to.
then
he
I need him
turned
to
over.
get back next week. He need to get back on TV and go. I was fearing for my life. It's not fair. I need him to start yelling like he did. Like he was like, I'm not gonna take this fucking shit. I need him to start doing that again on the mic.
Remember?
Like,
Y'all remember
you
when
do
he?
that and you
Y'all remember when he introduced Giannis? He had the belt out.
Yo.
Giannis,
Yo, and aviator glasses. Tony is a different Tony. Whenever he has, when he had the aviator glasses on and he was appearing on, was it ROH? He was appearing
on
on some kind of
ROH.
TV. He was literally a loose cannon, bro. He looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. I don't know, bro. He was out of it.
He like he hard party at a Super Bowl after party. Like he just gives that up.
Right.
Yeah.
One beer later, yo.
He be
Oh my
trying to
God.
go, and it's funny because I'm like, he just gives me like, listen, he gives me somebody who never got asked at the dance, and that's fine because you got money. You don't need to be asked at the dance. People need to be asking you at the dance. This is somebody who went to like Michael Rubin's white party with his daddy. You don't need to. You don't
Word.
need to ask me to
Yeah.
dance. I need to be asking you, can you dance? Like,
Word.
it's fine. But like I said, they could have told him like, listen, when you take this pile driver, just make sure you
Somebody
fall
coach him, bro.
properly. Like,
Yo,
that's
do
all
the
I had to
Bucks-
do.
Do the Bucks speak Japanese?
I
No,
don't
Kenny
know.
does.
Yeah, Kenny,
Does
yeah,
Okada
Kenny's super
speak?
fluid.
Does Okada speak English?
Very well.
Yeah.
All right,
very
because
well.
he's the MVP of that segment. That he did his selling and his
100%.
direction and his non-vocal, like
He gave
almost
the two
like
thumbs up.
command of that entire
Yeah.
situation was way too spot on for him to not be able to communicate. That was just
I said the
amazing.
same thing.
Okada
Yeah.
right now is the best heel in the business. Best facial expressions, best body language. Like he's the man.
Yeah.
When he hit that rainmaker pose into the middle finger during Dynasty, that was fire.
He was living his best life,
Yeah,
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
opinion. He
Shouts
really
out to
was.
him.
absolutely.
Shouts out to Okody, Chad voice.
Oh, Cody
Shout out
Rhodes.
to- Oh, Cody.
Oh, Cody Rhodes.
That's Chad's boy right there.
Yeah.
Oh, Chad's not here right now.
Chad on the car phone.
Chad's
Nah,
on
man,
the bat
it's-
phone.
Yeah, he's on the bat phone.
Yep.
It's been a good ass time. Yo, you're on Tuesdays on your show.
Yes.
Watch What Happens NXT. Watch What Happens Next.
Yes, yes.
TWG Fan Club on Wednesdays.
Yes, I am.
Let
And
everybody
it's
know
all
where they
under-
can find and follow you, man.
You can find Watch What Happens NXT showing every Tuesday on Those Wrestling Girls YouTube, Twitch. We're on X now. I'm on X now. You can also find Watch What Happens NXT's Instagram, where I drop recaps. I react to certain things. I now call it that Tumblr-based Instagram, because I'm just gonna keep dropping fun facts about NXT on there, and also remind you guys when I come on the air. And I'm on YouTube as well. I'm on Instagram. reload.relive. You can search me on all the handles. On Twitter, you can search me on Reload VFL. So that's where I'm at.
Appreciate you for coming through and hanging out with us.
This
We
is
bump into
fun. We
each
gotta
other
have
all
you
the
guys
time.
come on. We do. And y'all are always
Yeah.
a great vibe. Y'all always showing me love. As you can
Appreciate
see,
you,
my
Queen.
cup, as biased as my
I
cup is in
peeped.
the
I
background.
peeped it.
Hey,
Yeah,
I
I
saw the
may
RSC
have
cup.
handed out the cup like, here, drink from this cup. Don't.
Drink
Chad
from
gave me 3.
this.
Jack gave me 3, and I
From
was like,
this.
here, you get a cup, you get a cup. I was like, make sure y'all drink from that cup. But we gotta have y'all and watch what happens NXT.
Yo, I'm
Definitely
down.
I'm
I
down.
commend you holding it down with NXT content weekly.
Yes.
It's a tough watch sometimes. Like, you know what I'm saying? As much as we enjoyed it, it's a lot. Like, I think I wrote about this like on a law take. I said SmackDown is one of the fastest shows to get through sometimes. Like
It is.
with enjoyability, quality. Raw can drag forever. AO is on wax and saying you'll rarely wants to sit through a Raw like ever. Dynamite is always our quality wrestling comedy show of the week. And NXT can give you a blend of all of it. And it's interesting how they can give you a blend of all of it because it's like, yo, you can get comedy, you get quality wrestling, but you're going to get extensive amount of matches, whether you want to enjoy the matches or not, whether the matches are memorable or not, but you're also going to get some new faces. So I appreciate NXT for what it's doing right now. And I hope that the new main event scene rejuvenates that brand to another level because
For anybody who doesn't watch it, if anybody remembers UPN SmackDown, it gives UPN SmackDown vibe versus
shouts
the
out
nudity.
to just UPN in general, yo.
UPN period, yo.
That was like Thursday night SmackDown was the wave. It's like I always joke around. I'm like, listen, I was a broke immigrant kid living with her parents that couldn't afford cable, and UPN was the antenna was up on one side of the TV, and it was
Channel
on.
9.
And I made sure the Rock was a Channel 9.
Yeah, Channel 9.
And I made sure the Rock.
Channel 9.
I made sure I could smell what the Rock was cooking every Thursday. Then
Pops
Brock
was a part
Lesnar
of
and
everybody's
Johnson.
household when UPN was on TV. You know what I'm saying?
Pops
PJs, man.
and Living Single was like the go-to.
Yep.
But
that was
I digress. If you
wasn't girlfriends too, right?
Girlfriends.
1-on-1.
The Parkers.
Yo, the Parkers, Moesha.
They held it down for UPN. So shout out to the UPN generation. We here.
We here.
The U People's Network, I mean.
And now it's funny because
I got a real deep cut.
The new CW, the CW was UPN, and now it's going to CW.
I don't think it was ever UPN, but Thea used to be my show back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
Thea.
Yo.
Shouts out to Thea.
Yo. Damn, bro. Took it back, kid. Took it too
we
far
are
back.
old and shit. Okay.
Listen, I lived every one of these 39 years that are under
That
my
man
belt.
lived a life. Holy shit.
Yeah, we just
they
got
debut good times.
We just got a Thea drop in
yeah.
2024.
You thought you weren't gonna get a Thea drop on the Ringside Club podcast?
You never know what you're gonna get on our show.
Shouts out to Althea, my homegirl.
You never know.
Never know.
Word up. Well, yo, appreciate you. Anytime, obviously, our show is your home. Come through anytime. I mean,
thank you. I'll definitely
Let us know. Let us know what day is good. We'll come join you on Tuesday nights. You know what I'm saying? I'm tapped in. I'll be there watching. So we'll see until Spring Breakin' Part 2 next week.
Listen, the Heat Wave, my favorite NXT PLE is Heat Wave. Might be in Toronto for Heat Wave, but of course, as the season builds up, I'll definitely have y'all on. Have some conversations about where the brand is now as to where we are going to be with Heat Wave. So
now that you see our takes and where we stand with NXT, you know what I'm saying? You see how we are knowledgeable. We're not just the guys who are like, yeah, we're just, reading whatever's online. It's like, no, I'm watching this shit. Right. Like, I'm tapped in. Like, I know everybody that's going on. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's hope our predictions for the next champions all go accordingly, especially with that Women's North American Championship. I'm excited for that one. Very excited.
Big fingers crossed. But thank you guys for letting me in.
Much love, girl.
Of course.
Thank you so much for coming through.
I mean, you know what it is. The Ringside Club. We out here. Peace.